Chapter 3. It is the fundamental responsibility of history to bring to its readers all the possible dimensions of the historical events. Besides Golgappa and Cham Cham, there is another fellow in the present history and needs to be introduced right here. Once the jurisdiction of Sweetabad was finalized and its centre was established, those at the helm of affairs had decided to permit only the sweet ones to sell and own property within the precincts of this land of the chosen. But many entreaties came forth with a logical plea. Though we are not as sweet as you are, still we have a connection and sense of belonging to the sugary treats. Moreover, we pledge to remain loyal to the constitution of Sweetabad and its ideology of confection. We humbly request to be given a chance to excel our prospects in this realm. This favor will be highly acknowledged by our community. The establishment meticulously analyzed the demand and its possible consequences, and seeing them a minority and having no considerable loss to the fundamentals of Sweetabad, issued the verdict of approval. You may stay as long as you adhere to the constitution and ideology. This is how the community of savory snacks got the entitlement to reside and flourish in Sweetabad. Since the inception, this community lived harmoniously with the majority community of confections. They always abided by the law and stuck to the principles of amicability. The central anti-madness force stayed still, as there was not a single case of insurgency by the community of savory snacks. But it is a universal law that differentiation sooner or later leads to confrontation. Soon the minority community's desire to compete started being seen through. As is the characteristic of a minority, it began to extend its flanks not directly but by petty, quirky means of conspiracies and schematics. This was the high time for hidden tendencies. The one Namakpara exerted himself with full bloom. How come it is possible that the idol of Sweetabad is paying no attention to me? Is it because I belong to a minority class? Do we not have the right to live? Are we aliens? Does the constitution give no rights to us to be happy, to exert our sentiments? Do we know not how to love? Are we deficient in administering flavors to the taste buds? No, it cannot happen. Why is Cham Cham ignoring me now when he has always shown regard for me? What has happened so suddenly that I am now thrown away from the table of consideration? I will not give up. I will move heavens and earths to trace the cause of this misdemeanor. Thus determined, Namakpara swore to have no rest until he finds the root of betrayal. He made it his daily routine to tear his shoes to detect the cause. He frequented his visits all across the Golden Street. He spent hours waiting for the idol at the far corner of the street in a hope to win her favor. That day, when he found Cham Cham stepping off her university bus, he became obsessed with the idea of hoisting all his handsomeness. The moment he clicked his courage to access his dream queen, he met with a queer jerk. He found there was a no-lift board for him from her side. He clearly noticed her feet lifting from the ground up into the atmosphere. He attempted to pull her down, slightly touched the long heels of sandals, but could not retrieve anything. He was soaring and having eye contact with a sort of apparition that he could not figure out who it was. For the moment, A sheer sense of defeat and insult to his handsomeness prevailed over him. He crunched a bit in his agony, but recovered himself by mustering up all the scattered self-respect. He looked upward and found that she had entered the realm of eternity, had assumed the glossy mien of peahenship. Right on earth he followed the journey of the betraying peahen in the ether. Had she been paying the slightest heed towards him, the magical connection must have been established which could have sailed him into ether too. But now it was of no avail. He found himself dwindling in worth, but he was still resolute to fight for his constitutional right. He decided to hinge to and fro on this golden street while peeping into the eternity. His wisdom whispered to him that how many millennia may pass in eternity, these will be a few minutes on earth. But he forgot that the instances of separation are equivalent to more than eternity. Thus loitered the poor soul on the bricks of the street, helpless, torn, broken, and beguiled. Pity be the robbers who indulge in the theft of amorous words. Every journey has an end, every suffering a panacea. Ultimately he saw with his insight the presence of some light that had wrapped the eternity. This was the cunning light, for it drove Cham Cham to its haste. Fie to the radiance that darkens my life. Shame on the torches that eclipse happiness of others' share. Curse be the one that crushes the rights of minorities. Amidst chaos, uncertainty, and diffidence, he stuck to the hope of tracing the actuality. He remembered how he used to throw bowls of water on him during the wintry showers. He conjured the spirits of his ancestors. Glory be to the 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Honors to 2 tablespoons of semolina. O salt, O carom seeds, O black pepper, O the potent simmering oil in the kadahi. Have mercy on me. O who need, guide me in this hour of need. The incantations and fervent appeals finally condescended to provide a lead. Namakpara witnessed the fountain of radiance emerging from a little hole in a window. He followed with his curious eyes the beam of light, photon by photon, to its source. Here he got the secret, the event horizon. The moment he tried to squeeze his eyes on the event horizon, he glimpsed the apparition contracting into the hole, and Cham Cham, sweating after this venture, alighting down to the street. He had grabbed the reason for disdain on part of Cham Cham. It was none other than the hegemony of Golgappa. What was lacking in Namakpara was not any worthy merit, but just belonging to the membership of savory snacks. In his emotional state, he had forgotten that Golgappa was none other than his own snacky cousin. But in jealousy, one becomes myopic and loses objectivity. And our pains start deceiving our vision to see and digest truth. Cham Cham had disappeared towards her lane, but Namakpara was left in ruins. Don't give up. It's just a mirage. You have still not lost. Press on yourself. Think deeply of some solution to turn the tide. Believe in yourself. You can do it. Reclining on a candy bolster lying nearby, he thought for hours, and there came an idea. Well, it will do. It will be a big deal, but it's a nasty one. To do or not to do. A moment later, they say in Sweetabad that if the end is noble, the means are just props. Another moment later, he went directly to the editor of the daily Jalebi and submitted the proclamation that will spread like a furnace fire in the streets of Sweetabad by tomorrow. Caption: Golgappa of Sweetabad, utterly tasteless.